Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review we are looking at the Marvel Select Mephisto. This is an old figure, but a friend of mine let me have it so that I could fix it. It has a broken joint, or had a broken joint, which I fixed, so I figured I'd review it too while I have it in my possession. So you guys get to see the only Mephisto figure that is even remotely usable with your Marvel Legends. I suspect we'll eventually get a Marvel Legends version, but as of right now, this is your only option. He does come with his throne, but the throne is unpainted, so that's a little disappointing. The figure itself, it's kind of good and kind of bad, so let's take him off the throne, and we will take a look at him up close. So this guy is particularly tall. Like I said, it's Marvel Select, and he's particularly tall even for them. He stands about 20 centimeters to the top of his head, which makes him just about 7.5 inches. He's not huge, but he's very lanky, and it makes him look even taller, especially with the cape and the loincloth thing. As far as the paint goes, it's pretty much just a black wash or a red dry brush. It looks more like a dry brush to me. So it's really just the two colors for the main body, red and black. The boots and gloves are slightly darker, the cape is slightly darker, the hair is about the same, and then the face is obviously a little bit lighter. I guess it's an alright sculpt. It's not my favorite look, but it's good enough, especially since it's the only one. The cape is nice and soft, and it's nicely sculpted. Looks a little bit like beef jerky, but that's okay. And then the loincloth, again, is a really soft plastic, so you don't have to worry about it getting in the way for him sitting on the throne. His leg design is really weird, though, the way this whole crotch area looks. Very odd. Let's look at the throne, and then we'll get into the articulation. So the throne is sculpted pretty well, but there's no paint on it at all, so it really just looks like a black blob once you set it on your shelf. It needs to have some paint work on there. There's tons of texture in here, it's just not painted, so it looks really, really bland. It's pretty disappointing, but I guess considering it came with a figure for, what, 25 bucks, 20 bucks at the time, it's not too bad. Alright, so for the articulation, the head has a hinge and a swivel, so you shouldn't have too much trouble posing the head. The shoulders, now here's the thing, I've had one of these before and the shoulders didn't work on that one either. This shoulder is the one that broke for my friend, so this one is what I'm going to show you. It has basically no range of motion, even though it has the full hinge. You can see the disc inside there. It just doesn't want to go, so I don't know if there's a batch of them that just came stuck. The way they were put together didn't work, I don't know. So that's a thing, you can't raise the arms really at all without severe risk of breaking. You do get the full rotation on it though, you just can't bring them out to the side. Single jointed elbow gives you a little bit less than 90 degrees, so that's not super great. Basically, it's one of the old selects where they don't have much articulation at all. Then you have a wrist swivel on either side, so you can either give him the hand in the air clenching angrily pose, or you can put the hand on the throne clenching angrily pose. No torso articulation at all, other than a waist swivel, which is completely stuck. So I don't know if that's a common issue. I have seen it a few times though. And then the hips, we have the rotation. So they go all the way forward, all the way back, and then you have the hinges. But again, they don't want to go, and since it's not mine, I can't really force it. A lot of this figure is stuck, and I don't think it's an uncommon issue. So be aware of that. No thigh swivel at all. Single jointed knee, so you can still pretty much get him in his seated pose. Except without that thigh swivel, the legs do this. So it looks like he's a little kid sitting on a park bench. Like you could cross his ankles, and that would be okay. So that's kind of disappointing for a figure like this. No shin swivel. Ankle hinge works pretty well, forward and back, and we have an ankle rocker, which is weird because you can't really pose him very well otherwise. So it's not a particularly good figure. It's just the only figure of Mephisto. So if you want him, you need to get this figure. I can't say I recommend it. I'm pretty sure he's pretty expensive at this point. But it's not great. It's just adequate. It's acceptable. If you're a Marvel Select collector, you're probably used to the lack of articulation, so you'll probably be fine with it. But if you're into the more articulated figures, this isn't going to be one for you. So there it is, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see my upcoming figure reviews, custom figures, and other good stuff. And in the meantime, keep collecting.